星都市
貯金した方が。
To be productive at work, I gotta be well rested. Yeah, motherfucker, you heard what I just said.
I'm just a regular, everyday, normal motherfucker.
I don't like margarine, I much prefer the taste of butter. To be productive at work, I gotta
something bad about to happen to me. I don't know, but I feel it coming. Might be so sad, might leave my nose running. I just hope she don't wanna leave me.
Now is a good time to land. I'd rather keep this going on solid ground.
What? Is the mighty Chief of Burke afraid to fuck me at 10,000 feet? Well, come on then. Let me ride your dragon.
Toothless!
Did you know that if you search for The Last of Us TV show on Google, this button will appear at the bottom of the page? And if you click the little mushroom, this will happen. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Video Game Easter Eggs, the series where we cover some of the best Easter eggs found in video games. As always, if you think you know of a video game Easter egg that I'm yet to cover, then let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to check it out. Oh, and don't forget to leave a like on this video, and if you do, I'll order everyone a pizza. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin today's video with the Callisto Protocol. Now, judging something's quality based on the internet's opinion is rarely a good idea, and I think that applies to the Callisto Protocol. Don't get me wrong, it's not a Game of the Year contender, but it is a good survival horror experience, and for the first entry in a series, it does show a lot of promise. Now, you may not have known that the Callisto Protocol was originally developed as a game set in the PUBG universe, though this idea was eventually scrapped. Still, you can find a reference to Callisto's roots. Near the beginning of the game, you can find this. So this helmet is a reference to the same helmet worn by the PUBG guy. You know, this guy. Now, I'm only a couple of hours into Callisto, so if there's anything else that I should be keeping an eye out for, then please let me know. Next up is Goat Simulator 3. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like the hype around Goat Simulator 3 isn't anywhere near as big as it was when the original released. In my opinion, the reason for the lack of excitement is because Goat Sim 3 is an Epic Store exclusive on PC, which means a large section of that player base is waiting for a Steam release. It's a shame, as Goat Simulator 3 is more of what made Goat Simulator 1 so popular. And of course, that includes more Easter eggs. First up is a reference to one of gaming's most influential first-person shooters. At this location on the map, you can find a granny relaxing in her garden. Well, it turns out that granny doesn't like goats in her garden, and she will start shooting balls of yarn at you. If you, take care of the granny, the doors to the basement will open, and if you head inside, this will happen. So entering the basement will transport you to the world of 1992 first-person shooter Wolfenstein 3D. The other Goat Simulator Easter egg also references an iconic video game franchise. At this location on the map, you can find a group of scientists working in a water tower. In the tower, you can find a button labelled launch, which may as well say push me. Okay, so we've established that the button launches a nuclear missile. Best to be careful then. Well, if you enter the same coordinates that I do and press the button again, this will happen. So this bomb lands a little closer to home. settling in a leafy suburb. Now, if there's one thing that we've learned here, is that we really shouldn't be pressing buttons if we don't know what they do, regardless of how tempting they look. Well, let's ignore that for now and press the button on the bomb. I mean, what did you expect would happen if you headbutted a nuclear bomb? Anyway, detonating the nuke will reward your goat with the Fallout Boy suit, which is of course a reference to the Fallout series. Oh, and one more thing. Anyone caught in the blast radius now has extra limbs attached to their body, thanks to the radiation. Next up is another game that released late last year that I'm only now getting around to covering. Gotham Knights is an open-world action RPG starring Batman sidekicks. Now, if you were hoping for an Arkham game but with different playable characters, well, you're going to be disappointed. Whilst not as grind-heavy as the Avengers game, there is an emphasis here on upgrading gear and collecting loot, which is fun for some people, but not for me. Anyway, Gotham Knights has tons of callbacks and references to comic book characters. But the Easter eggs that I wanted to share are tributes to two comic book writers and artists who sadly passed away. First up, at this location, you can find this. So this is a tribute to American illustrator and writer George Perez, who passed away in 2022. The other memorial can be found at this location on the map. So this memorial is a tribute to Neal Adams, a man credited as one of the most famous Batman artists of all time. Next up is Bus Simulator 18. Now I know what you're thinking. How can a game where you're stuck behind the wheel of a bus have Easter eggs? Well, the cool thing about Bus Simulator 18 is that you can leave your bus and explore the open world. I mean, there's not a lot to do in the open world, but you can find this. So Hidden in the Wilderness is a thank you to the players from the developers. That's not all though. If you look behind the thank you stone, you can find a hidden proposal, which makes me wonder, did she accept? Right, let's end today's video with one of the creepiest games I've ever played. The Mortuary Assistant is a game where you play as a mortuary assistant. I mean, the clue is in the name. Now, working in a mortuary is spooky at the best of times, but working in this mortuary takes that spooky factor to a whole new level. Whilst performing your duties as a mortuary assistant, you'll be constantly thinking, wait, did I just see that? But the Easter egg from this game will leave you in no doubt as to what you saw. One of the bodies that you can work on is this guy. So as part of a Christmas update, one of the bodies that you could prepare for burial was Santa himself. Now, I'm not going to share every step involved in preparing a body at a mortician's, but let's just say I've seen more of Santa than any person ever should. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then leaving a like is super appreciated. If you are a fan of Easter eggs and secrets in video games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel's all about. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.
As the years go on, our dopamine receptors get burnt out more and more as social media desperately tries to keep our attention. That's why, for example, short form content has exploded in popularity. You had Vine come out a couple years ago. They didn't really know how to monetize it, so it fell off. And now we have TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Now, I get asked a lot, how'd you get big on YouTube? What do you do? And originally, a couple years ago, I'd say be a complete vulture, be the first to any topic, like Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler. Just get to a topic first, and then once you grow an audience, actually make content you care about. For example, I made MLG videos. I was on a trend. And then after that died, which it died very quickly looking back at it, then I jumped onto Leafy's here commentary videos. I did copy him straight up. I'm not even going to try and like hide that. And then after that, I went onto game reviews, and now I do daily commentary videos. But the only reason I do that is so I can actually fund videos on the main channel. By the way, the next review video I've got coming out on the main channel, game review, oh my god, I'm so excited with it. I was going to throw a teaser in this video, but I don't actually want to just yet. But it's going to be good. It's going to be worth it. All this daily uploading, it will make sense soon. But anyways, my point is, making that kind of content, I don't even think you'd grow from that anymore. Honestly, if you want to grow on YouTube, make short form content. I have seen so many people on Twitter that will post saying, I've just hit 30 million views this month. And then you go on their channel and they've got like one video a week and they get like 5,000 views per video. And you think, where are these 30,000 views coming from? Are you accounting for the dead? Do the Yakuza owe you a favor? But no, in reality, you click on their shorts tab and you will see that they do a short video every other day and it gets like 10, 15 million views. It is insane how much YouTube is shilling them just to compete with TikTok. I think the only problem is with the short content at the minute is it's amazing for clout and for reach. It's just horrible to actually make money off, because I'm sure many of you have been scrolling through TikTok. You get an ad and you scroll past it. You see that little watermark in the corner saying it's an ad, you skip. I do not ever think in my life I've been recommended a TikTok ad and actually wanted to buy the product. To be fair though, that is usually because whenever I browse something, I use a VPN, so they just, you know, they're scratching their heads. They don't know what to recommend me. I think one time I was recommended like a makeup or skincare products, and then the other day I was recommended this plug with a button on it, which is just the most useless invention ever made.
This device makes any product smart and can be used to turn on your lights, heating, dishwasher, plugs, microwave, or TV. You just stick it next to any button or switch, and using the app or this button, you can activate its arm to turn on the device. Plus, using this Wi-Fi enabled home hub, you can control the Fingerbot from anywhere in the world.
Truly, the Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race. I just love how we've innovated so much that plastic garbage like this is basically the only thing that gets promoted on TikTok. They've really got the water bird as a Simpsons bit, tapping on Homer Simpson's keyboard and turned it into a product. Now, I'm explaining my kind of disdain for short form content, but that isn't the point of today's video. What I'm talking about today is a huge exploit that's going around on TikTok right now, and it's actually been going around for a while, but no one's really talked about it. But recently, it's exploded in popularity. There was a TikToker called Slamori, and he made a video exposing it, and this video has over 1 million likes. And 1 million likes on a TikTok, that's really good, because people on TikTok, they don't like a TikTok unless they want to, you know, remind themselves to steal it and recreate it later so they can get views for themselves. Essentially, this entire TikTok is calling out another creator that's got around and copyrighted a bunch of audio. So essentially, the way TikTok works is there's these audio segments from shows, or people create them themselves, or from music. They go viral, and people will then use that soundbite in their own TikTok. For example, Ted Neverson, another YouTuber, he made an entire video about trying to make a TikTok sound go viral.
Wow. Well, this is going to be my personality for the rest of my life.
And that sound was super successful. I see it on my For You page sometimes. And in typical TikTok fashion, the most successful and viral soundbite, originally from Ted, is a guy promoting a grease-proof tray on an air fryer. So again, someone using a viral sound to promote a product. It's just capitalism at its finest.
Wow. Well, this is going to be my personality for the rest of my life.
But anyway, back to the main topic. This guy, Slamori, made a viral TikTok calling out this guy called BobTok, and he's apparently claiming viral audio as his own, even though he didn't make it. So if you have, you know, a soundbite or something that accidentally goes viral, he will then rush to the copyright office to claim it as his own, being able to make, you know, tens of thousands of dollars without you seeing a single cent.
If any of you as creators have had an audio go viral, you need to go check right now and see if somebody's copyrighted that audio, specifically BobTik. Well, what he is doing is he's taking, just say for instance, you had a fun little moment with your kids, so one of them said something funny, that audio blew up, people started using it. Yeah, this guy copyrighted that fun little moment you had with you and your kids and ended up posting online. And it's easy for us to say, well, you should have gotten a copyright, but hear me out. There's this guy, his name is Kinetic001 on YouTube. Well, BobTik swooped in and stole a segment of a fun little gaming clip this guy had 15 years ago that ended up going viral. Well, not only was Kinetic001 completely demonetized, he was also forced to take a bunch of his content down, and his channel never really recovered from this. In addition to this, he will no longer make any money off of an audio he personally created.
Now, originally on hearing that, I was like, who the hell is this Kinetic001 guy? It's probably just, you know, a literal who. I go and look up his channel on YouTube, and oh my god, it's the guy that made the door stuck meme. The Counter-Strike door stuck meme from like 15 years ago. Yes, it is that old. I know, it's absolutely terrifying. BobTick has retroactively claimed that guy's audio, and now he can't make money off it. He can't make money off a bit that he made. And the thing is as well, this Kinetic guy, that was the only video he ever uploaded on his channel, but he actually came out of hiding and was forced to upload a video recently, you know, doing a face reveal, explaining everything on how he can't make money off it anymore.
You know, besides the point, what's really, you know, gotten to me now is that as of today, I got a notice that some copyright troll claimed Doorstuck as their own and is monetizing it while I'm in this appeal process, which is extremely scummy. And they literally just re-uploaded it, like, you know, but they're the ones making money off of it, or at least were until I paused it because I'm appealing it on that end. And so during that interim, when they decide, you know, they can't make money off of it, but I highly doubt that they're gonna, you know, like release the rights back to me. So it's up to YouTube to do the right thing. And if YouTube doesn't do the right thing and continues to allow this troll to make money while I'm appealing my monetization, I'm gonna have to delete Doorstuck, because there's no way I'm gonna let this asshole steal money. You know,
I make a lot of jokes on this channel, but unironically, this could be the biggest change the internet has ever seen. We could lose a classic meme. A classic 15-year-old meme could be completely obliterated because he doesn't want the guy to make any money. And honestly, I don't blame him. I really don't. That probably gets him like a cool passive income, maybe let's say a couple $100 a month, and that's being very, very, very generous. It's probably nowhere near that amount, but I think still out of principle, like, you know, to let a guy, this scumbag, claim your audio and profit off it, it's not right. It's completely fraudulent. So I hate to admit it, I don't blame Kinetic for taking the video down, even though you are losing a classic meme. That's up there with like Trollface. Trollface. Now, I don't really need to go into detail, but the claim and appeal process on YouTube is just, it is terrible. And it is not, it's changed very, very little since I started being a YouTuber full time. The way it works is someone claims you and then you're allowed to file an appeal. The problem is when you file an appeal, it doesn't get sent to YouTube. It gets sent to the guy that made the claim. So, you know, you've got to put in your full name, your home address. So that guy basically essentially gets your ducks. That's not a great thing. And then second of all, which is a slight improvement to what they've done in the original system, once you file a claim, then it's held in a separate account. So the video, any revenue generated from the video doesn't go to you, it doesn't go to the guy that claimed it, it sits in this like different account. So when it's resolved, it usually gets paid to whoever wins the claim. Again, the problem is though, if it's claimed by someone and then, you know, you file a counterclaim, the chances are they'll just go, no, I made the right claim, and they'll just, you know, sit on it, and then they get the money anyway. So they've made a better system, but it's still mostly pointless because it favors whoever's claims your video. And the thing is as well, when you file a counterclaim, it can go up to 30 days. So unironically, I've had this so many instances, especially when I was doing, you know, MLG videos years and years ago. You will have these bastard companies that will sit on a claim for 29 days and on the very last day just deny it anyway. So they make you wait the maximum amount of time and then they just fuck you over anyway. And that isn't the only viral clip that this BobTick guy's claimed. Slamuri himself made a viral TikTok and then the same thing happened. It got claimed, and the amount of money he explains that he lost is just, it's comedic.
Next, I created an audio called the Slamurai Original Audio. For those of you who don't know, it was the little rising sound effect with the pop at the end of it. People used it for challenges and whatnot, like Caitlyn Jenner used it. It really blew up in a way I never thought it would. And then when I found out it blew up, I was like, I'm going to copyright this and monetize off it. My family could really use this money. Well, he beat me to the punch, and in the process raked in about $25,000, give or take 2 or 3.
Now, a lot of you are probably wondering who BobTick is. I'm not too sure either. I had to do quite a lot of research into this, which is like, you know, opening 5 Google tabs. And I actually thought that this was all kind of a bit. Like, BobTick wasn't a person. This was just an example of like how fake news can spread through TikTok. But I did find some sources, and I am so sorry for this. It came from Know Your Meme. Like, you know that we're down bad when I have to use Know Your Meme as an article of information. So apparently BobTick is a Russian TikTok and Instagram user who allegedly steals copyright claims of viral videos from original creators of TikTok and YouTube in order to make a profit on Spotify and elsewhere. Now, This has been going on for a while, so this isn't like a New Year's thing. He's been doing this since at least 2021, which is insane. Others on the app led their own investigations, such as one TikToker who discovered BobTick's Instagram page and VK page. If you don't know what VK is, by the way, it's basically the Russian equivalent of Facebook. It's a Facebook exclusive site only in Russia. Apparently running under a label Vizavi Music. Originally the creator of Door Stuck video. Yeah, we know about that he got claimed. So it's a Russian guy. It's a Russian guy that's going around claiming everyone's audio. And unfortunately, this is a really common thing where you have these companies that operate outside of, like, you know, Western countries like America and stuff. And there's not really much you can do. You know, if this was a guy in America doing this, you could just find where he is and then sue him. But if it's in Russia, it's like, what are you going to do, bro? You fly over to Russia? You're going to get Interpol to arrest him? Unfortunately, when you're outside the country, your options are very, very limited unless you're incredibly wealthy. So, yeah, this situation, it really sucks. I really hope Kinetic gets it sorted out, because to lose Door Stuck, nah. I don't want that happening in my lifetime. I'm not losing that beautiful, famous meme.
Shady at work, it goes something like this. Hey Mike, is that a new haircut?
Yes.
And it's meant to look like that, is it?
Oh.
Got him. But when the makers of video games want to throw shade on their competition, they have the excellent option of hiding a stealth insult inside their game in the form of an Easter egg. There's simply no better way to low-key poke fun at your friends, rivals, and most hated enemies. See for yourselves by pointing your eyeballs at these 7 shady Easter eggs that roasted the competition. Subscribe for a list like this one every dang Thursday and mind out for some very minor spoilers in these following games. Mike, I'm sorry for the hair comment. It was
uncalled for is what it was.
I was trying to do a bit, yeah, a funny bit for
okay, so you
the
think it looks
feature.
good then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, roasted.
Oh.
Sonic the Hedgehog's nemesis, Dr. Robotnik, goes to some pretty extreme lengths to try and kill his spiny rival, including, but not limited to, big balls on chains, giant drills, and robot clones that can turn into buzzsaws. Really, all he needed to do was wait until autumn, build a bonfire, and then let Sonic fall asleep among all that cozy wood and kindling, and then job done. The first of Robotnik's fantastically over-engineered Sonic killing machines that you encounter in 1993's Sonic CD is a massive bipedal robot covered in spikes with hedgehog-repelling bumpers for arms that rejoices in the high-tech sounding name of Egg HVC 001. It is almost certainly not a coincidence that HVC 001, as well as being the name for this robot, was also the serial number name for the Famicom console made by Sega's rival Nintendo. Behold the Famicom HVC 001, otherwise known as the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES. Maybe that Easter egg doesn't sound like such a burn, you might be thinking. That robot is badass. And then you brush lightly against the Egg HVC 001, and the entire thing falls apart quicker than a Wish.com Jenga tower. Haha, a major blow in the console wars. How will Nintendo come back from this? Oh, right, by easily winning and still making beloved consoles to this very day. I remember now.
As you might have guessed from the title, top-down shooter Enter the Gungeon is a game with a lot of guns in it. Unless the title is a typo, it's supposed to be Dungeon, and the number of guns is just a coincidence. But there are loads of weapons in the game for you to blow things up with, including a beehive, a pea shooter that fires literal peas, and a shotgun shell that shoots shotguns. One of these many, many weapons is deadly in its own right, but serves the dual purpose of also being a savage indictment of modern gaming monetization practices. That is, the microtransaction gun. Costing a hefty 100 of the game's rarest currency, hegemony credits, the microtransaction gun resembles a big gold cash register. It fires collectible statues and plushies, art books, cash and gems, and uses one shell, the game's other main currency, every single time you fire it. If that wasn't on the nose enough, the gun's description makes clear what the deal is, saying, "Everyone involved in the production of this gun thought it was a bad idea, but the higher-ups made them build it anyway. Later, management shut down that gun factory for making a gun no one liked." To cap it off with a specific digger to rival, the gems that the gun fires are green and look very similar to the gems from the then recent Dungeon Keeper game from EA, which was so riddled with microtransactions trying to get you to buy green gems that it was basically unplayable. As a side note, the microtransaction gun is free if you buy Enter the Gungeon's DLC. I can't tell if that's satire or not, but either way I think it works.
Toussaint, the land of snuff and wine.
Exactly how I remembered it.
Only a franchise as esteemed as The Witcher could pull off a jab at the concept of downloadable content from within some downloadable content and still come out of it smelling like roses, much like Geralt after a trip to the bathhouse. Fragrant. In the Witcher 3 expansion, Blood and Wine, the developers at CD Projekt Red do exactly that, taking a pop at the industry practice of downloadable content. In the course of his Witcher duties, Geralt winds up on the trail of a vampire serial killer who has left a fresh corpse.
Damien de la Tour's guardsmen are there already, securing the area.
Securing the area? Better go there now before they trample any tracks, manhandle any evidence.
Investigating the scene of the recent murder, Geralt discovers a fancy handkerchief that belonged to the unidentified victim floating in the river.
Silk kerchief, monogrammed DLC. A noble's accessory, clearly.
This small DLC item must belong to a nobleman, Geralt deduces, on account of it being so expensive. Overpriced, you might say, if you were making a point about DLC. This DLC nobleman turns out to be a former knight named Delacroix.
One thing. Found a handkerchief in the water. Monogrammed DLC. Mean anything to you?
Delacroix? It cannot be. Was it he the beast slew?
It then transpires that the serial-killing beast of Toussaint has been murdering people for breaking the knight's moral code, like if the killer from Seven had been into the chivalric virtues and was also a vampire. Mr. DLC was murdered for failing to uphold the chivalric virtue of generosity. Being greedy, you might say, if you were making a point about DLC. And in the spirit of doing an ironically themed murder, the killer stuffed a bag of money down the throat of Mr. DLC before chopping him up and dumping him in the river.
Something in the throat. A pouch, bulging with coins.
And so it was that The Witcher 3 pulled off its greatest ever trick, which was taking a crafty pop at overpriced, undersized DLC in rival video games from within the main quest line of its own DLC, which, by way of contrast, was a deep 20-hour expansion and thus a totally different thing. Ta-da!
Speaking of The Witcher, it turns out not everyone's a fan. Or at least not a fan of the kind of stuff Geralt gets up to in his off hours, which we remind you involves doing it on the back of a stuffed unicorn.
Yen, let go of the mane.
I know you. I let go, you throw us off.
Among those numbers, we can include the Mahoyed horse trader in 2018 Peasant 'em Up Kingdom Come Deliverance, who has for sale a horse that shares a name with Geralt's trusty steed Roach. Inquire about purchasing this horse and you'll receive a little rundown on its origins from the horse trader that contains a few sly digs at the Witcher series, Polish developer CD Projekt Red, and also what has to be the most famous and we hope only example of stuffed horse romance in gaming history.
Oh, she's a pretty good horse. Oh, she's got a mind of her own. I bought her from some odd Polish fella. He said now he's settled down with a wife, he's afraid she'd want him to stuff her. Them Poles are a perverse lot.
That said, pretty much all the horses in Kingdom Come Deliverance are Easter eggs in one way or another, and at least Roach is better than Epona, a horse described as only responding to wind instruments, who is also the most cowardly horse in the game that will bolt at the first sign of trouble.
She's a good horse, no question, but she won't listen to anything but a pipe or a flute.
Probably worried about someone stuffing him and doing it on his back. Seems there's a lot of that going around.
Well, it's not quite a hot damsel in distress, but it is a rescue mission.
Rescuing who?
Apes. What?
This may come as a shock to you, but the Metal Gear Solid games don't always take themselves 100% seriously. That was probably the moment that BAFTA knew they had to give Hideo Kojima the Fellowship. Perhaps the clearest example of this is the Snake vs. Monkey minigame that featured in the PS2 version of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, and which saw genetically engineered super soldier Naked Snake running around trying to catch the monkeys from Ape Escape.
Gotcha!
So that he could unlock a monkey mask and banana camouflage.
No. I'm a CIA agent. I've come to escort you back to the other side of the Iron Curtain.
Still makes more sense than Death Stranding. Anyway, if you've never seen it, I encourage you to watch the introduction to the Snake vs. Monkey mode, not just because it involves Snake and Campbell yelling about apes, includes the phrase monkey catching action,
Isn't this just some monkey catching action?
and has Snake inexplicably saying that he'd rather be collecting pants.
I'm not against some monkey catching, but I'd rather be collecting pants.
But it also includes a sly dig at the main pretenders to Snake's throne as king of the stealth games, Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell and Gabe Logan from Siphon Filter. As the intro is mostly Snake complaining about having to do the mission in the first place, he says that someone of his skills isn't needed for such a basic stealth mission, and asks why someone more basic and available couldn't do the job instead. The names he suggests? Sam and Gabe.
Why don't you make Sam or Gabe do the job?
Snake.
Take it as a compliment, Snake. No one does monkey catching action quite like you.
I'm willing to take full responsibility for the horrible events of the last 24 hours, but you must understand. Our interest in their world was purely for the betterment of mankind. Everything has clearly gotten out of hand now, yes. But it was worth the risk, I assure you.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and disparage the toughness of the Dragonborn from the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. This is, after all, a person who can shoot fire out of their hands, fight dragons, and most impressively of all, eat an entire wheel of cheese in a single bite. Yes, there are few video game protagonists more deadly than the Dragonborn, but if you had to pick one, I think the first thing that would pop into your head would be Doom's Doomslayer popping demons' heads. As if to make this comparison official, the developers of 2016's Doom reboot included a secret Easter egg for you to discover, consisting of a long-dead skeleton wearing a particularly identifiable helmet. That's right, it's the Dragonborn from Skyrim, who looks like they've taken a lot more than just an arrow to the knee. Although they have also taken an arrow to the knee. Doom and Skyrim share a publisher, Bethesda, so it's likely this is more of a playful shout-out than a full-on roasting. But the fact remains that the Doomslayer is doing just fine in an environment that seems to have done for the Dragonborn. Come on guys, there's no need to fight. At least neither of you is in Fallout 76.
Leon, we have a blackout in the main hall. You?
Affirmative. We're in the dark again.
God damn it, get out of there immediately.
Aidan Caldwell, the main character of Dying Light 2, is a capable zombie survivor. But how does he stack up against other iconic characters from zombie video games? Well, if the mission named Broadcast is to be believed, pretty well actually. That's because during this mission, in which Aiden has to scale a skyscraper full of zombies, he runs into not one but two characters who are snarky Easter eggs meant to roast the great-granddaddy of zombie games, Resident Evil. First of all, during the mission you come across an injured peacekeeper who may seem familiar with his Raccoon City Police Department looking uniform and 90s boy band curtains.
You're Leon? That's what it says on my dog tag.
Oh yeah, also he's called Leon. He asks you to go and find his comrade Chris, who, it has to be said, is doing even worse.
Chris?
Oh, you
Kill the Chris zombie and you can grab his dog tags to confirm that yes, this was Chris Redfield, who apparently got a lot worse at fighting zombies between Resident Evil Village and Dying Light 2. And Leon? He disappears, presumably having also died because he's so much worse at fighting zombies than Aiden. To be fair, I don't think Leon or Chris ever had electrified arm blades, so it's not really a fair comparison.
Thanks for watching this video brought to you by Outside Xbox. Mike has already fled in fear of more roasting of his haircut.
He's trying to even it up himself with scissors. It's, if anything, it's worse.
But never mind that.
Quite a lot worse.
Let me interest you in more videos from Outside Xbox, like this one about the worst consoles ever released that were hilarious disasters. That's fresh out of the Outside Xbox video kitchen as of last week. And then there's this video from our sister channel Outside Extra, and it's about the games you can fail before you've even started. Imagine that. So pick one, and then see you back here next Thursday for another video a lot like this one.
Oh god, he's still at it.
You shall die.
I am the storm that is approaching.
How many times have we fought?
You react well. So, here, how about this?
Let's give him a little taste of the good shit!
Nothing
れるぞ